This is how we made Gender Bender. Now, in order to tell you about how we made a song about bright colours, it's only right for me to show you my favourite bright outfits during this video. The song is ultimately about the unfortunate downsides of being a queer person in the 21st century. I was 20 years old when I came out for the first time, and up until that point I'd pretty much been invisible out in public my entire life. And I found it to be quite a shock when I started going out like this, the way that people would look at me and the sort of reactions that it would get. There was one particular instance I remember very clearly when I was 21. I went to meet some friends at a pub, and a gang of about 10 or 15 lads just started verbally abusing me as I was walking in, shouting slurs which I won't repeat here because nobody needs to hear those. And it took me such a long time to be able to come to terms and get over with what happened. And there was this other time on the way home from my old work that a group of men catcalled me, and this anger just started building up inside of me for a good 2 years. Until one day I'd finally had enough and I was improvising some music and Gender Bender was born.
Well, Gender Bender's quite a sort of straightforward song, to be fair, in terms of drums, but in the verse I added something in that basically was only there to make it sound more complicated than it actually was. And it's just taking the beat onto the offbeat, but then it actually brings it back straight away, rather than letting another beat carry through so you know it's on the offbeat, but it's in the verse. And just by adding that double snare, but then doing it again, you're already bringing it back on the beat. I thought it made it sound a bit more clever.
Now, I think my favourite thing about record production and why I prefer it so much to playing live is when you find something that just transforms the section that you're working on into this totally other thing. And Gender Bender was a classic example of that. We had this intro. And all the instruments were there, all the frequencies were well represented. We got a good low end with that bass, a good top end with those synths, but there was just something missing from it. And all I literally did was just went through a bunch of plugins that I had, clicked on a reverb plugin, and when I turned it on, it was engaged at 100% maximum reverb, and this happened. Now, a lot of people would say, whoa, that is way too much reverb. But as soon as I heard that, it just transformed this section, which I kind of wanted to sound like a sort of funeral march almost. It just transformed it into this big epic thing. And I think for me, it made the song. Stream now on Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, YouTube, and all other big streaming platforms.